Hello, this is Jake, and I just finished watching the film Alive Inside, and it was super awesome, and I loved it. And I'm going to be talking about some of the things I learned and what I really enjoyed about the film. So, one of the things I really enjoyed about a small part about the film is when it showed pictures of these people when they were young, because I feel like when we're interacting with seniors, elders, we just look at them as they're older than us or like that, and we don't really think about what they looked like when they were young and what exactly were they doing when they were young. So next, the things I really liked about Dan Cohen was the way he interacted with people. His way of interacting with people were so friendly, and it's almost like he knew them for so long. And these people with Alzheimer's or dementia or things like that, they were accepting Dan all the way from internally and out. And people were dancing with him or talking to him with such a friendly attitude. And another thing I liked is how hard he worked, and after 3 years of working very hard and calling places, organizations, that he ended up being able to help about 56 nursing homes, and I thought that was just amazing. Next I want to talk about is Henry and his interaction with music, and I really like this. I loved when I saw the change from when he was not introduced to music and when he was introduced to music, because they were talking about how he's very inactive, he wasn't talking, responding too much, he didn't really move. But after he was introduced to music, he started moving physically a lot. He was a lot more talkative. He was answering questions from the interviewer, and I loved it when he said, "I would love to bike again." I just loved how it kind of awakened him, his true self. And I also loved how his reactions and his change impacted his surroundings, not only him, but those people who were living in the same building on a wheelchair or anything. They were happy. They were happy to see Henry being excited and dancing. And another thing I appreciate from the film is when they used a upbeat background music, because that kind of outside the box, it made me think how music is not only affecting people that are in the film, but also the viewer, the people that are watching the film, because I was affected by the music and I felt emotionally up positively. Next, I want to talk about Denise and her interaction with music. And this one was a little bit different than Henry, because for her story, I felt something magical, because obviously I felt magical when Henry danced and became more talkative and saw changes, but I felt more magical when I saw Denise began to dance, when she started hearing, and how she was using walker this whole time for many years, but all of a sudden when she's listening to music, she's just dancing with Dan, and she was talking about how she's enjoying it, she's having so much fun. And another thing I loved seeing was when the guy came to play music, she gave her necklace, I believe, to him, because I loved it because I saw that connection, emotional connection with the music and the person, and I just loved that interaction and how open she became. Next is the John and music. Personally, I felt that his story may be the most emotional because of how his emotions changed after listening to music. They talked about how he didn't have this kind of emotion for many years, but all of a sudden he's crying, and he didn't know why he was crying, but the fact that he was crying and how he talked about he loves dancing and singing, and how he talked about how you want to sing again, is just made me feel sad but also very happy, and it felt like he was awakened from a very long sleep. Some of the things I learned from the film is that music and rhythm is not really touched or impacted by Alzheimer's, and that also nurses tend to view these people as patients first and then human beings, so that I kind of felt sad about that, but that's kind of the reality, and I'm thinking about how we can fix that. And I was kind of mad when I learned that medication is easier than having access to music, and that's just a hard reality. And I also loved the music is for everybody and it connects people, and I also was surprised when I learned that we learn music and rhythm before we're born because of the vibration and the sound from the mother talking, and how people have faster response to music, and I thought that was very interesting. Next, got me really emotional was when I saw how people were trying to leave the nursing homes and buildings because they know that that's not their home and that they're not in the right location, and they're trying to leave, and how they described it as like a solitary confinement, and that got me really emotional. And another thing I remember is how the guy went to Congo and played music for people, females that were raped or abused or any kind of abusement, and how these women reacted. They started crying, and that got me very emotional, and how after that they sang for hours, and I thought that connection that music was helping them was very emotional. And another thing I keep remembering is the quote, "Music touches us all," and I really appreciate that quote, and it just stuck in my mind this whole time, and it will never go away. And it was also heartwarming when they talked about how love and care for others will always be there, even people are suffering from Alzheimer's or dementia. Next, the questions that I had was why the government had so much little effort, or maybe they have efforts but not enough effort to help these elders, and I don't understand why it's so hard to just provide money to get like iPods that they introduced in the film. And another thing was that there's so much drug use, but the fact that that's not really helping them. Obviously it's controlling their behaviors and actions, but it's not really recalling or helping fixing their identity, bringing back their identity. Another thing is that there's only 6,000 geriatricians, and the fact that that number is decreasing, meanwhile number of people with Alzheimer's or dementia, all that is increasing, and I think that's not good, and I don't know why that's happening. And lastly, I don't know why they mentioned about what modern society is trying to hide elders, because they have so much stories to tell us, the young people, and how much experiences they have, and we can learn a lot from them, but we're still trying to hide them is got me confused. So sometimes I hate technology. They're very difficult to control and use, but when I saw how Henry's post, the video post, going viral, and how millions of people watched it, and how all these people felt connection and commenting and understanding each other because they have similar experience, and I thought that was so amazing, and I wanted to thank technology. I was also happy to hear that about 650 houses now have access to music, so that it can help these people bring back their true identity, who they are. And also, I kind of wanted to now work with American Music Therapy Association, hopefully, for my client and help my client. So lastly, for OT, I definitely think music can help for people like Alzheimer's or dementia, help them remember what their meaningful occupation is, who they are, and what their life in general looked like, so that the client can better understand their clients. And also, I think OT can help clients related to music by maybe providing devices that can play music. In film, they used iPods, but now we have all kinds of technologies. And maybe OT can also gather volunteers from local schools or people from locals to play music for these people and help them bring back their memories. And I think music can also help these people remember a specific task and how to do tasks through music. But that's all I have for you today, and thank you so much for listening to my reactions to Alive Inside, and thank you.